Hey everybody, this is Dr. Dain. Welcome to this No Filter Monday. Yeah, Friday passed, I forgot. And, let's face it, it hasn't really been a regular thing. It's like fiber, my social fiber has not been taken. My social media fiber. Anyway, I digress. Given that I've got a Choice of Possibilities class coming up this weekend, and I did a live yesterday on what is choice really, and we went to some interesting places that I was not expecting. Well, in exploring this, because when I have a class coming up, I'm like, okay, what's the latest thing that I can talk to people about? And I just sort of let it flow in, like a Zen, like, come in, darling, yes, hello information, hello more consciousness, hello different ways of doing things, nice to see you, just come on in, have a seat. Have a seat in the green room. I'll be with you when class starts, darling. And so what I want to talk to you about today is two quick things. One of which is going to be one of the biggest gifts in the world if you have ADHD on steroids like I do. I think it's funny, we have ADHD. Do you know the diagnosis was created because they found this stuff called Ritalin that they were able to manufacture, and then they needed a way to sell it. Oh, cool. Now you have a diagnosis for being able to hold simultaneous realities in existence at all times in a way that other people can't. Anyway, I digress. So let me tell you how an ADHD person works. An ADHD person will... So, for example, I will give you an example from this ADHD person and what I gained from it and what I'm hopefully going to take forward into my future because it's really friggin' helpful. So here's the deal. Typically, somebody with ADHD, like you, yeah, if you're watching this and you don't hate me when I go off on my little rants, if you're like, oh my God, my brain is like that too, I'm talking to you, okay? So typically, when we grow up in all kinds of ways, people try to put us into a structure. And why wouldn't they? That's the way things seem to work, is in a structure. But doing things linearly, oh my God. Just shoot me, okay? But here's, oh goodness, there's so much. Once again, the ADHD, it's just, when I acknowledge it, it's like, you acknowledge me, let's have more. And all these things come into my head and they're like, Anyway, I digress. Again, I think all I do is digress. I think the thing when I'm actually talking about something that I planned on talking about, that's probably actually the digression, now that I talk about it. Anyway, I digress to my digression. Woo. Yeah, I know. Hey, this is the way it is in my head, okay? Not my fault. It's just my head, verbally. Hello. So, let me tell you how I got to this awareness. Well, a lot of you know I went on a trip recently and was gone for a while. Boy, was it amazing. By the way, hello. Changes I've wanted to see for decades are showing up. I'm so excited. But that's a story for another time. The onward movement continues. So I ordered all kinds of stuff for two of the subjects that I'm currently dynamically interested in, one of which is scuba diving. The other one is guns. And I'm one of those people that when I get involved in something, I do all the research because it's fun, because my ADHD just like, just internet, man, just all of it, just what else? So I ordered a lot of stuff. And I also have this area where I keep it all. And it was not looking pretty. Let's put it this, it was like, And so yesterday, I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to organize this stuff. And so what I did was I single-mindedly set out to organize this. Now, along the way, there were other things that came up like, oh, I could do this, or I should do this. And what happened was instead I was like, no, I am organizing this. I will complete it. As though, like, if I complete it, then I have a little gold star. And somewhere in the, like, where are these fucking gold stars we're all supposed to get for when we do stuff the right way, rather than our way, by the way. Anyway, I digress about my digression about digressing. But So in doing that, um, I realized there's a different way of being for those of us with ADHD. And that is if you'll do one thing and start on that, and then as soon as you get bored and your mind goes to something else, go do that. And then you'll get bored again and you'll go to something else. And then you'll go, oh, now I know what to do with that thing that I didn't know what to do with on the first project I was working on. That's the way we work, is we're extrapolating all the time. We're pulling information in all the time. And so what happens is if you try to make yourself go linearly, like I did yesterday, it goes slower, is less fun, and way less miraculous than it can be. Now, part of the reason this came up is because I looked at that and I was like, wow, you know what? I put a lot of energy into this yesterday. But I also wanted to put energy into, there's some videos I want to make, get content into some of your hands. So I didn't do those because, no, I'm going to do this. And at a certain point, I was just sitting there in the area where all this stuff is. And I was like, I can't do it. I think my brain broke. And rather than, and at that point, I just went and did something else. But see, if we're willing with our ADHD to work with it and acknowledge it and be really friggin' grateful for it, actually, because there's an expansiveness in that world that is so different than most people. And so what happens is you start on one thing and it lights up. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you're excited to do it, you're present with it, and you can see all these possibilities with it. At least that's the way it seems in my world. I'm like, ooh, yeah, I'm excited to actually organize this. What a weird thought. And then you do it for a while, and it's sort of like you squeeze all the juice out. And at that point, now it requires mental effort to try to keep going. But instead, there's usually something else, even if it's like, I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to call a friend or something. And oftentimes it seems like something totally unrelated. And so that thing then lights up. And then so you be with that, and it's kind of like you squeeze the juice out of that. And then another thing will light up. In other words, when you get bored, consider, I mean, you can try plowing through it for a little bit and see if it changes. But when you get bored, like, okay, what else? Or when you get distracted, okay, what else? And go to the thing that's distracting you. Like, I'm also cleaning up an area in my bathroom that is habitually, especially after trips, it goes, and and I was initially avoiding it because rather than just walking up to it and going and looking at the first thing that tells me it can go someplace else, what I was doing was, oh, dude, I don't want to do this. I can't figure it all out right now. And this is one of the other pieces with those of us with ADHD especially. And once again, if you don't know if you have it, if you haven't been diagnosed, I'm talking to you. Anyway, but with those of us who function from there, what happens is if you, instead of going, I am going to do this, I'm going to do this way, if instead you kind of show up and you're like, hey, hi, everything. Hi, everyone. Where do I start? And just look for that one little thread that you can pull. Now, I do this with facilitating also. When I work with people, there are sometimes people are so stuck. They can't go there. They don't know. And their entire life, they've been looking for the one answer, the one solution. And so what I do is there's always eventually we can find one little string in the ball of twisted yarn they call their problem and start pulling on it. And once that pulls just a little bit, then the next thing presents itself, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. This is a very similar thing to what I'm inviting you to and hopefully acknowledging in you, because when we don't seem to have access to this, life is not nearly as much fun. Because you trying to be linear is like a dragon trying not to fly, or trying to fly only in a straight line at a low level and never, torch anything. It's just, life starts to lose its luster. But when you can allow yourself the freedom again to just explore because we are explorers, my beautiful friends. We are explorers. When you can allow yourself the freedom to just explore, it's like, oh, and here's the weird part is in a day, you'll get more done in 10 areas or 5 areas or 3 areas than you could have if you had just focused on one area and not gotten it completed. So just try it out. And part of the reason this came up is because one of the big things on the live yesterday, and hopefully we can put a link below so you can check that out if you didn't. And it was interesting how much of people's idea that they didn't have choice was based on the projections, expectations, separations, judgments, and rejections of others. Well, so that was a bit of a surprise to me. And it was based on their buying points of view from other people about the nature of their reality in their life, right? Well, with this, see, the one time, when you choose what's actually true for you, things show up. That's when things show up as if by magic. Here's the difficulty. Most of us have no friggin' clue what's true, what's really true for us. We have maybe a soupçon of what is true, while all the while trying to fit it into the appropriate box of what other people think must be true. Sorry, I had to change the temperature. Another ADHD maneuver. While not having a sense that our way of doing things has value, this is a way of tapping back into the magic and the miraculousness of you and your capacities. And the reason it came up was because I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, because I have these videos I want to make, right? And those are fun for me. Like this one, this was an impromptu one, which I allowed myself to do because of this awareness. And so I asked myself and I looked at it, I was like, where, if I were truly creating my life today, and here's a question you want to ask. If I were truly creating my life today, what would I choose right away? And then from that, where would I put my energy? And what would I choose? And so what occurs in this is, so what I looked at was, I was like, I realized what I had done. I realized that I had single-handedly decided that with single-minded focus, I was going to organize this stuff. And then I realized, wow, you know what? That's when I got the awareness. I'm like, holy shit. And here I am, 22 years in. I get new 22 years in. Yes, I'm only 22. Thank you for noticing. You're welcome. I just started drinking yesterday. And right now, no, not really. Sounded good though. And here I am, I'm getting a major awareness. And this is the thing I love about the journey of consciousness is you get more awareness every single day. Your life actually does get greater every single day. So in looking at if I were truly living my life today, where would I put my energy right away? And if I were truly being me today, what would I choose right away? And so here I am, I'm ADHD cleaning stuff up because I still have a lot of stuff to clean up. And it's like, oh, and then I got the awareness for this video. Oh, one of the other things, and this I will leave you with, I think. One of the other things is, what was the other thing? Shit. Hello, thing. Thing, where are you? One of the other things. See, had an ADHD brain fart right there. Oh, here's what it was. The other thing was this. Is one of the things you may notice is you'll get really enthused or excited about something. Now, I'm talking to you about my experience. This may or may not be true for you for all of these things. I just figured one ADHD person to another could maybe, contribute something if it does. And if it doesn't, just feel free to not. By the way, if it does, please like it. Please subscribe. Please share with your friends because that'd be really awesome. That would be a way of saying, thanks, Dr. Dain. You're welcome. The other thing is, if you've noticed, have you noticed? I don't know. That there will be something that comes into your awareness and you get kind of excited about doing it. But then if you don't do it for, I don't know, maybe an hour, maybe a day, it's different for different things. If you don't do it, it's almost like it just sort of disappears, or it loses its luster. And then when you go to do it, it feels kind of linear rather than magical. That's one of the things I've learned with a lot of the creative ideas that I have. And I hope this helps for you guys too. With a lot of the creative ideas that I have, there's this energy of do me now. It's kind of like well, forget it. I won't go into the other aspects of where that could be said. Anyway, but it's like do me now or lose me forever. And it's not forever, but it's kind of like strike while the iron is hot. When you have the idea, at least start writing it down or something. Or in this case, like here we are, we're 15 minutes into this video. Sorry about the long video. I thought, here's the funny part, check it out. I thought this was going to be like a reel, like a quickie. Nope. Or a short. Yeah, a short reel. So there you go. No, not at all. Anyway, strike while the iron is hot and recognize that's not a wrongness of you. Because once again, a lot of us will be in the middle of something, but that's when inspiration strikes. And so if to the extent that you can allow yourself to then pursue that other thing and train yourself to know when that's actually something to follow and not just a distraction, you start to have everything. It's a way of being present with everything in a different way where each thing is like, it's like lit up rather than kind of like, boo, like wet blankety kind of. And that's also when we are trying to do linear, we are making ourselves less. Just plain and simple. If you're trying to do linear, you're making you less than you actually are. And you're greater than that. And so am I. So let's be that. Let's be the greatness of this weird ass fucking ADHD thing that we have that is so phenomenal that if we actually just use it in the way that we can. You know, I wrote a book called Being You, Changing the World. This is us being us, changing the world, changing our world at the start. And as you get that this thing that you probably have been avoiding, probably been made wrong for your whole life, is a gift, oh my goodness, it changes everything. And then at that point, what else is possible? So I hope this conversation has been helpful, and the energy's winding down. So I'm going to go do something else that might be interesting, like make a tuna sandwich for breakfast. Yeah, ADHD people do that too. So there. Okay, my beautiful friends, thank you so much for watching. And what if you truly being you, embracing the gift of the magic that your ADHD is as you pace around the room making videos and such, are the gift, the possibility, and this world requires. You are. I thank you so much for being. I thank you for watching, and I hope this one has been a contribution. And like I said, if it has, please like, please follow, subscribe, whatever the heck we do on these social media channels. Please let other people know, especially your ADHD friends, that they are not wrong. They're cut from a different cloth, and it is a cloth of friggin' miracles. See you soon, my beautiful friends. Bye-bye.